Hello and welcome. My name is Grace Ngere, bringing you my story, my voice. Today, let's talk the talk. Come on in. Today, we're going to do audio, not video today. And I welcome each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to talk about let's talk. My story, my voice. Stay tuned. Invite your friends. Tag. Subscribe to YouTube channel and you will all be blessed. Stay right there as we wait for more people to come in and we'll jump right in very quickly to talk about the talk. Let's talk about this talk. This is my story, my voice, where we give hope, where we find hope and healing at times of discouragement, at times of when we feel like we don't want to be here anymore. Stay tuned. This is Grace Ngere. Thank you for joining. Amen, amen. My story, my voice is the show, audio show today. I welcome each and every one of you. I see a few of you, Mishak. Thank you for coming in. Biomaz, thank you, thank you. Go ahead and continue sharing and inviting. Today we are gonna do an audio, no video today. I'll miss you guys, but we'll see each other next time, next episode. The song is an instrumental sung by or played by Kevin MacLeod. Amazing grace, amazing grace is all we can have for us to be able to survive in this world. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Grace Ngere, bringing you My Story, My Voice show. And today we're going to talk about Let's Talk the Talk. My story brings you hope and healing. We specialize in prevention of suicide and awareness and talk about it. We're going to talk about it today and remind ourselves about suicide and how we can talk about this talk. A talk that many of us see it as a taboo, an issue that many of us are embarrassed and ashamed to talk about. But today I want us to quickly talk about it and see how can we do or how can we talk to somebody who is heavy trodden, who is at a time they don't know what's going on in their lives. They feel like they don't want to be here anymore. And then you're there and you can see the changes. As we have often talked about, we have talked about signs and symptoms of suicide. And so you see these things on somebody and then you don't know how to act. You don't know how to go about it. But today the good thing is that we will talk about it. How do we go about this? When you see somebody is not doing the things they used to do, when you see somebody that they look sad, how do you talk? How do you start the conversation? Thank you. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you, Pastor Joe, for joining us. How do you start the conversation? Thank you so much for all of you who are joining. This is Grace Gere. We're talking about, let's talk about this talk. And today it's going to be just audio, no vision. It is just audio, Elizabeth. Sorry, I'll miss your face. But anyway, suicide. How do we talk about it? How do we start the conversation? If you see somebody who has these problems, I'm gonna be looking at the Samsam. It is a website that talks about or has it's Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration that you can find a lot of information. And today I chose starting the conversation about suicide. How do we start it? How do we go about it? What are some of the tips that we can use to talk to somebody who is thinking of suicide? We will just talk about how we can do it, how you can talk to such a person, and then next time we can see what to do to help somebody of that kind. But today, if you are there feeling that this is your day, this is the day you cannot do it anymore, you cannot do it any longer, I would urge you to call the Suicide National Hotline that you can be able to talk to somebody 24/7. It's a crisis line that you can talk to somebody and they'll help you to find resources where you can get help. Because guess what? You are not alone. If you're going through this journey, you are not alone. And nobody should undermine how you're feeling when you feel like you want to end it. It is you. It is a true feeling. I went through it. I know what I'm saying. And so don't be afraid. Over here, my story, my voice, it is your voice. You come here. It's a place where people who do not have voices, they get the voices. They are able to talk. They are able to say how they feel through their story. They give their story, and then you find somebody else has the same story. And so I am welcoming you this time. If it is you that feels like that, feel more than welcome to come and give your story. Inbox, come live. We do live shows. Today we're doing audio and we talk about these things. So today we will talk about how to start this conversation. how to use simple language to start this conversation. And it's a very difficult conversation. It's a very sensitive subject, I agree. It's just like talking to teenagers. It's sometimes the teenage moms and dads who are here, we know it is very difficult sometimes to talk some subjects with our kids because it's taboo or it's shameful or it's sensitive or our background do not let us. We were not taught to talk about these things. The other day, my mom was here with us, and my daughter just starts a conversation about menstruation. And oh my goodness, the look on my mom's face, I just wish I had a camera because she was like, why is she talking about this? And so when she got done, I said, Mom, you know, this is America. And not just America, this is the age. This is the age now that these things are no more sensitive. It is good. It is okay to talk about things that sometimes we feel, or that sometimes we grew up thinking we are not supposed to talk about. So suicide is a sensitive subject. It's just like any other sexual subject that can be talked about. It's like a drug subject. For the teenage talk that I just said, it is uncomfortable, and oftentimes we don't feel comfortable about it, but it is worth it. Because guess what? When you talk about it, especially when you ask somebody live, not beating around the bush, you will be surprised. You might save a life, because what you do to this person, they are able to feel safe. They are able to feel that they are being understood by you, and they feel safe to open up to you and to open up about their concerns. And if they were feeling rejected, and you're here asking them questions, and they see that you can listen to them, and you are not judging them, and you are not down or shaming their comments or their feelings, then you give them an opening to talk, and in the process, you save a life. Okay? Talking about suicide does not increase the likelihood of increasing suicide. It usually does not. What it does, it decreases. It saves a life. So, what are some of the things that we can do to be able to start this conversation? As I just said, when you talk about it, it does not increase chances of suicide or suicidal thoughts. You gotta know that it does not increase. What it does to you as the person who is let's call it investigating, it gives you an avenue to know what this person is thinking about, okay? And then if they tell you, you gotta have to be very serious and take whatever they are telling you very seriously. Attempts, suicidal thoughts, they are real. Do not take them for granted. Take them as they say they are. They are very real. And attempts, mostly when somebody attempts, they will have another attempt. It's a risk. It's a risk factor for somebody who has past history of suicide attempts. Also, when you ask these questions, ask them open-mindedly. Don't ask closed questions of a yes or no, or questions like, you're not thinking about suicide, are you? No, somebody will not answer you appropriately if you ask them such a question. Ask them open-ended questions. Live, there is a live. Are you feeling like killing yourself? And they will tell you no or yes, and then you open up an avenue for a conversation. And by doing that, you save a life, you rescue a life. And that is what here is on My Story we do. Even if it means one person, even if it means rescuing one person at the end of this show, if one person was thinking about it and they'll be open to talk to somebody and maybe postpone it for tomorrow, that is our goal. That is our goal. Elizabeth, thank you for coming in, and I know you really, really want the video, but we can't today. Frank Wandekurigai, thank you for joining. And Kigodo, thank you, and hi. And stay right there, because we will not make it so long today. We just want to touch on how to start a conversation about suicide, about somebody who was living this joyful life. And actually, by the way, they might be still living a joyful life. You know, they have this smile every day, but you do see some things that are new, you know. So sit down with this person, ask them what is going on. If they talk to you, if you ask these questions and they are able to talk to you, follow up with other questions. And if they tell you, also inquire if their plans, the method, all those things, so that you can gather all that information. Because the information they give you will indicate the risk, if the risk is increased or if the risk is not increased. Now, how do you introduce this topic? I'll just give you examples here, how you can introduce these topics, or this topic of suicide, talking about suicide. One thing you can say to this person, now I'm going to ask you a few questions about suicide. So when you sit down, you introduce yourself. If for example, you are a healthcare provider, you know, introduce yourself. If it's somebody, family member, just, you know, say, can we talk? And then ask this, say this. Now I am going to ask you a few questions about suicide. You can phrase it another way, like, I have a few questions to ask you about suicidal thoughts and behaviors. So that's one way of introducing the topic to the person you're talking to, the person who is at risk of suicide, according to maybe what you have seen, the assessments you have seen. The other thing you can do is to screen for the thoughts, look for the thoughts by asking questions like, have you thought about killing yourself? Have you thought about carrying out suicide? That's one question, but different wordings. So you can use that too. And that way you will be able to get thoughts of this person. How you can be able to see if they are attempting or they have attempted, you can ask, have you ever tried to take your own life? Have you ever attempted suicide? That way, if you ask them, they'll tell you, yes, I have. I did this and that. Those questions, those two questions in different wording that I gave you, they are a way to start your conversation. And they are brief, don't make them so long, and they are straightforward, to the point. Okay, they are straightforward and to the point. Ask them directly if they're having suicidal thoughts, if they have plans to do so, and if they have access to means of committing suicide. So when asked, are you thinking about killing yourself? Have you ever tried to hurt yourself before? Do you think you might try to hurt yourself today? Have you thought of ways that you might hurt yourself? Do you have pills or weapons in the house? If you ask these straightforward questions, direct questions, they will be able to tell you. And then you be able to assess the risk of suicide, and then take the appropriate precautions. You know, first of all, the first thing you have to do, if they tell you they have pills, keep this person safe. If they have lethal weapon like a gun, keep them safe. Get them out of that place that has that gun. Take that gun away. Okay. And then you can follow up with some questions, which is very, very important. If they say yes, take note. Okay, so if they say yes to these questions, and you take note of a warning sign, and you really suspect this person is really serious, then that is when you take another step. You take another step. Take them to say, if they have like a family doctor, or mostly a psychologist. That way they are able to be, if they have, say for example, they have stress or depression, and maybe they go through it. See if they are taking their pills the way they're supposed to be taking, and if not, then it's a conversation starter. You start a conversation with them. Then the other thing that you can do, or a follow-up question that you can ask, after they answer those questions that we have already done, like you have assessed how serious the thought is, you have assessed and found out that they have means of committing suicide, they have lethal weapons, they have pills, they have tried to hurt themselves that particular day. For example, let's say today, if you have asked these questions and they have answered yes, follow up with these questions. Can you tell me about the suicidal thoughts that you're having? And if they need more direction, because they might not answer out right away, say, for example, what brings those suicidal thoughts? And how strong are they? How long do they last? And if you do not already know, ask them this. Have you, or if they don't know, ask them, have you made a plan? What is your plan? Do you have access to a method of suicide, a gun, an overdose? Do you intend to attempt suicide? So when you always ask these open-ended questions, this person may tell you all the information that you need to know. And also this helps you from like investigating, they don't feel like you're investigating or grilling them. So I think that is all I have for today. But I can give you a few follow-up questions that you can add to that. If they have told you or they have answered all those questions, you can still ask, please tell me about the attempt. What brought the attempt on? Why were you? Where were you? Were you drinking? Were you high? Or which method did you use to try to kill yourself? This is somebody who has now attempted. Did you receive medical treatment? Did you want to die? How much did you really want to die? And were you relieved when you tried this? Would you rather have died? Right? And some things that you cannot say after you ask this person all these questions, some things that you can absolutely never say to this person. Before I say that, when somebody is feeling they want to die, for them it is valid. For them, at that time, that's all they can do. It is right for them. So you cannot come and start making them feel bad about their feeling, because they have gone through this for a long time. And before they reach to that point, they have probably tried everything. They have tried to live. Every single day for them, every single moment they are awake is a big attempt. And so when they are able to open up to you, just give them a listening ear. Now, you can never ask or say, you can never say, things are not so bad. Things are not so bad. Don't tell them our problems are never as serious as we think they always are. No, you don't know. They are the ones going through whatever they are going through, not you. So don't tell them our problems are never as serious as we think they are. And then if they tell you they're thinking of suicide, don't tell them that is foolish. Don't talk like that. Don't talk about death. No. They feel that's how they're feeling. Their feelings are valid. Don't tell them, I know you are probably not, but I want to check. Are you thinking about suicide? What is that? You cannot ask them that. Because if they will not even do it to you. That's one example of a closed question. It has to be open-ended. Don't ask, you're not thinking about suicide, are you? No. Ask them straightforward. these things that I said, do not ask them. What they do, they imply that suicide is something that person should not be thinking about. It is an implication that they may cause this person not to feel his or her true thoughts. You let them feel their true thoughts. But if you look down at their statements and whatever they are saying, then you make them not to reveal their true thoughts. So it is important to let the person know that you want to know how he or she is feeling. And by doing so, you will be an instrumental in their lives to save them. You might be able to save them and you would be surprised. So today was a difficult subject, how to start the conversation, give you a few pointers. Next time we can talk about what to do. And because that is what we do here on My Story, My Voice. But if you are feeling like you want to commit suicide today, if you're feeling you're so low, you don't know what to do, there is a number that you can call. It's called Suicide Hotline. And I'll put it on my description on my audio here. And it's called National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The number is 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. They also have even a chat line, which you can chat on. And the chat line, let me see the chat line number. If you go to their website, you'll be able to see that. And I'm gonna put that on my video there, on my audio. So thank you so much for joining me on this audio. It's different. We haven't done an audio for a long time, But it was good. It was okay. Thank you everybody for joining. I can see all of you, even if you cannot see me. And I thank you so much for joining. We'll continue next time. Maybe it's not gonna be a video. These are some changes here and there because life happens, and what we do, we move with the changes, and we be flexible. That's life. We be flexible with whatever comes our way, and it's good changes, and change is good. And so I still thank you all for being so much together with me, so much for your support. My story, my voice wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you. And I ask God to bless you. And if you are thinking of suicide, reach out to that number, call that number. And remember, you are not alone. You're not alone, and your feelings are valid, but you don't have to talk to somebody. You don't have to do it by yourself. You don't have to carry the burden by yourself. Talk to somebody. Gina is telling us to talk to Reverend Dr. Penny Joroge. She also talks about suicide. She also talks about mental health. So you can check her out if you want to get more inspiration, more encouragement. We all need each other in our individual lives, in our areas of practice. We all need each other. Thank you so much, Gina, for joining Mariwa Mudhamaki, CB, and Job Maura. And now I have to end this. I appreciate you joining us. May God bless you. Remember to enjoy the little joys of life. And may God bless you. See you next time on the next episode. My name is Grace Ngere. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.